Hello. This time I thought I would talk about how to craft a song for a performance. A lot of times we sing a song and we don't pay attention to whether it's a performance or just a song. If you want to make it into a performance, there are some things that you can do to enhance the song itself. First of all, keep in mind that nothing should interfere with the song. Not the chords, not the accompaniment, not the key that you're in, the production. Nothing should interfere with the song because the song is what's really important. So let's keep that in mind and go to the first thing that we have to think about. The first thing that we should think about is what key is the song in. Now there are a couple of things to think about regarding the key. Can you sing in that key? You should know your vocal range, and you should know whether you can actually sing in the key that you've selected. So if the key is too high or too low, it's not going to work for you. You don't want to be screeching, and you don't want to be reaching for a note that's down too low. The other thing is the accompaniment. Is the accompaniment, are you going to be able to hit notes and chords that sound good with the song? If not, you might just want to pick another song, because there are a lot of good songs out there, but not everyone is one that you can actually sing. And if it's not good for your voice, maybe pick another song. If the song is just off by a little bit, if the key is just off by a little bit, you might want to use movable chords, you might want to use a capo, something of that nature, just so that you're in the right key for the song and for the accompaniment. And we'll get to the accompaniment shortly. So let's talk about the chords. When you're playing an accompaniment, it's really easy to just strum and strum away. But does that enhance the song at all? Subtlety is important. Now, if the song is a loud, raucous song, yeah, you can use a loud, raucous chord strum, and that would be appropriate for that. But if the song is a ballad, you might want to consider something a little bit more subtle. And you might want to consider chords that do not have harsh sounds. So I give you, for example, you can hear that E string very loud. For a lot of the ballads that I do, I don't even hit the E string. I save that E string for when I do a solo on a particular song. So let me give you an example. And for this I'm going to use a simple strum. We're going to do a song by Bob Dylan called "To Make You Feel My Love." So here's what I would do. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. Now, if you noticed, I didn't use full chords the whole time. I used partial chords. I used a descending note to lead from one chord into the other. Subtlety, subtlety. And I certainly didn't use the E string. Now I would save the E string for when I'm doing a solo. So we talked about using partial chords, or even one note. We should also talk about voicing. Now, what is voicing? Voicing is the inversion of the notes in a chord, and there are certain voicings that go with a particular song, and there are other voicings that just don't go with it at all. So for example, on "To Make You Feel My Love," that works pretty well. But if I use this voicing, this is a chord you know, and the rain is blowing in your face, and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace. Now that's a nice progression to have, where I'm going down, 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 down. That could be good in some songs, but I don't think it enhances that particular song. I would stay in this genre. I would actually stay down here to do that song. The chord progression should take you on a journey. So on this particular song, so that's my journey as far as the accompaniment. And there are lots of different accompaniments and lots of different journeys, but this is the one I picked and I like it for this song. Now we talked about that kind of a progression. In some songs that's actually pretty nice. So for example, when I play Michelle, there's a part in the song that goes, I will say the only words I know that you'll understand. So when I do that part, I actually use a progression that descends. I will say the only words I know that you'll understand. So you can see that when you go, it adds a little bit of interest to the song. And so that's something you can do as well. So you can use a technique of keeping the accompaniment moving. And here's an example of keeping the accompaniment moving. I do a song called You Don't Know Me. And here's what you can do if you want to play it simply. You give your hand to me, and then you say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so. Okay, that's fine. You're singing the song. You're singing the song, but it's not really the best way of presenting that song. First of all, it's a ballad, and like I said before, I don't think you want to use the high E string because that's not good for the accompaniment of the song. So you might want to use chords that are inside chords, and here's what I do for that particular song. You give your hand to me, and then you say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so, and any fool can tell. You think you know me well, and you don't know me. And I used a couple of tricks there. I stayed on this note here. Now some of you who don't know that many movable chords, that might be a little bit far ahead for you. But if you can do it, if you can pull it off, it's a nice effect. Let's also talk about intros and exits. So for that particular song, I do an intro that's very simple. You give your hand to me, and then you say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so. Okay? So, and then at the end, you give your hand to me, and then you say goodbye. I watch you walk away beside the lucky guy, knowing you'll never know the one who loves you so. No, you don't know me. Very simple intro, very simple ending, very effective. People know when it's going to start, people know when it's going to end, and the intro leads you directly into the song itself. Very effective. Let's talk about the song itself. Word phrasing is very important. First of all, you want to enunciate and you want to emphasize the words so that people can clearly hear what the song is about. So you don't want to crowd the words, you don't want to slur the words, you don't necessarily have to say the word exactly on the correct part of the measure where it lands. The background doesn't necessarily have to be there, or the accompaniment doesn't necessarily have to be there at the same time as the lyric. The accompaniment can precede the lyric and lead into the lyric, and that's a very effective thing. So for example, when the rain is blowing in your face, then chord, and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace. You see, you hardly even noticed that when I sang it, but it's very effective. The words stand out, and the accompaniment is there, and it leads you into the song. So keep in mind that the song is a conversation between you and your audience. You're actually telling them a story, and you want it to seem like a story, especially in a ballad like the one I just played. You want that to be a story. And speaking of the end of the song, the last verse of the song, I already showed you the ending of that song, You Don't Know Me. But there are different things you can do as a wrap-up. You can slow the tempo down, you can put in dramatic pauses. So for example, if I'm doing this song, The Prayer, the end of the song goes like this. Or you can do it the way the song actually ends when Josh Groban does it. So I hope there's some tips that you can use in this video to enhance your song. There's intros, there's outros, there are song endings, there's tempo changes, syncopation, inside chords. Remember some of these things and try and do one thing at a time to maybe make your song sound a little bit better.